Itachi Uchiha. Itachi Uchiha, Uchiha Itachi, was a shinobi of Konohagakure's Uchiha clan who served as an Umbu captain. He later became an international criminal after murdering his entire clan, sparing only his younger brother, Sasuke. He afterwards joined the international criminal organization known as Akatsuki, whose activity brought him into frequent conflict with Konoha and its ninja, including Sasuke, who sought to avenge their clan by killing Itachi. Following his death, Itachi's motives were revealed to be more complicated than they seemed, and that his actions were only ever in the interest of his brother and village, making him remain a loyal shinobi of Konohagakure to the very end. Itachi was the first child born to Mikoto and Fugaku Uchiha. His early childhood was marked with violence. When he was 4 years old, the Third Shinobi World War waged, and he witnessed firsthand many of the war's casualties. The death and destruction he experienced at such a young age traumatized Itachi and made him a pacifist, leading to him training non-stop to achieve his dream of becoming a ninja among ninja in order to erase fighting from the world. At age 5, after becoming a big brother to Sasuke, Itachi was approached by Shisui, who offered to train together. Soon, the two became best friends, forming a brother-like bond as they continued to teach the other new tricks. During the nine-tailed demon fox's attack, he was home alone looking after Sasuke, followed by Itachi rescuing Mikoto from falling debris, and in the anime seeking shelter with Izumi. The Nine-Tails attack had soured relations between Konoha's leadership and the Uchiha, the former believing the latter to be responsible. The Uchiha were relocated to the edge of the village, isolating them from the rest of the village and making it easier to monitor them. At age 6, Itachi enrolled into the academy, where he consistently scored the highest in each subject and quickly learned any skill taught to him, resulting in him being praised as the best of his generation. After 4 months, his teachers unanimously agreed let him take the graduation exam early due to Itachi being more than advanced enough for genin level, which he passed later that month. During this time, he began seriously studying the history of the world, gaining a great appreciation for it. On the day he graduated as the youngest post-war graduate, he was approached by Danzo Shimura, who assessed Itachi's thinking. Joining Team 2, Itachi went on to honing his skills to Chunin level, leading to him drawing the attention of Konoha's leaders. Meeting the criteria, Fugaku allowed him to sit in on clan meetings in the Naka Shrine basement. Nearly a year since graduating, Itachi had mastered ninjutsu to the extent his missions went too easy, though Yuki Minazuki didn't recommend him for the Chunin exams. After turning 8, as Team 2's genin had distinguished themselves the most during the year, they were tasked with guarding the fire daimyo during his annual trip to Konoha. During the mission, the convoy was attacked by a masked individual, who killed Tenma Izumo before Itachi, resulting in him awakening his Sharingan, which he mastered at the same age. In the anime, Itachi accompanied his friend Shisui on a 3-part training exercise, only to interrupt a battle between the 3rd Hokage's Umbu and Root. After having driven out the Root ninja, Itachi learned from Shisui about having his own sense of morals from various viewpoints instead of one. At age 10, Konoha officials allowed Itachi to compete in the Chunin exams by himself, which he passed and became a Chunin. At age 11, Itachi joined the Umbu as its youngest member. In the anime, Itachi is assigned to Team Ro, working alongside Tenzo and with Kakashi Hatake as his captain. During his mentorship, Itachi became acquainted with Kakashi and showed interest in the Sharingan he possessed despite not being an Uchiha. At one point, they both worked together in a 2-man squad following an exchange between Konohagakure and the Prajna group of the Land of Woods, killing the latter party after an attempted betrayal. They would work together for 2 years until Itachi is promoted to a new Umbu team under Danzo's authority. Itachi's accomplishments were a source of great pride for his family, his father viewing him as proof of the Uchiha's future prosperity and his brother viewing him as a model to live up to. Itachi spent a great deal of time with Sasuke, training with him, though rarely actually training him, and giving him the recognition their father did not. However, for all the attention he received, few truly understood Itachi, believing his isolation to be a result of the gap between his abilities and theirs and not his dissatisfaction with the shinobi's life of conflict. Eventually, the Uchiha's disdain for their unfair treatment led them to plan a coup d'état. Fugaku, head of the Uchiha and the coup's chief conspirator, encouraged Itachi's advancement into the Umbu's ranks as a means of spying on the village. Itachi, however, knew an Uchiha coup would lead to intervention from other villages and ultimately start another world war, something he could not support. He instead became a double agent, reporting the Uchiha's actions to the 3rd Hokage and the Konoha Council in the hopes it would help them find a peaceful resolution. Itachi shared the burden of betraying his clan with Shisui. But as time went on, it became increasingly clear that peace could not be achieved. Shisui intended to use his Koto Ematsukami on the Uchiha's leaders to compel them to negotiate, but his right eye was stolen by Danzo before he had a chance. His own options exhausted, Shisui entrusted his remaining eye to Itachi and begged him to protect the village and their family name before drowning himself in the Naka River. Itachi was anguished by Shisui's death, enough to awaken his Mangekyo Sharingan. When the following day some Uchiha, already suspicious of Itachi, accused him of murdering Shisui and staging a suicide, Itachi lost his composure and attacked them, defeating them easily. A rift was created between Itachi and his family, and his warnings to them to reconsider what they were doing fell on deaf ears. At age 12, he was promoted to Umbu captain, with his publicly disclosed promotion age being 13 due to Danzo's request and Hiruzen's acceptance. In the anime, Itachi was also given command of his own three-man squad. At one point, Itachi would confront his father in the Naka Shrine basement, who revealed to have had his own Mangekyo Sharingan since the Third Shinobi World War. Having read the stone tablet with it and knowing the truth of its power, Fugaku calls for Itachi's aid in a bloodless revolution by restraining the higher-ups in lieu of controlling the nine-tailed fox, much of the clan's favor of bloodshed. Instead, Itachi would return back to the Konoha Council to report the clan's imminent revolt. Although the third Hokage still wished to negotiate with the Uchiha, Danzo Shimura recognized that there was no longer an outcome that could see the Uchiha clan's survival. He explained this to Itachi and left him a choice: support the Uchiha's coup and have the whole clan, including Sasuke, killed in the ensuing conflict, or accept the assignment to wipe out the clan before the coup started and be allowed to spare Sasuke. Itachi chose his brother. Despite having made his choice, Itachi was tormented by guilt, especially with the knowledge that Shisui would most likely not forgive his choice to destroy the clan. However, remembering the words of his father to not let others decide things for his life, he resolved to continue his path. While making final preparations, Itachi discovered a masked man sneaking around Konoha. From observing him, he came to believe the man was truly Madara Uchiha bent on provoking some new conflict. Itachi approached him with an offer: he would assist Madara with wiping out the Uchiha, taking vengeance against them for abandoning him decades earlier, if Madara would spare the village, to which he agreed. In one night Itachi and Tobi slaughtered the entire clan. Itachi took it upon himself to personally execute his parents. Despite his betrayal, they bore him no ill will, instead telling him in the moments before they were killed that they were proud of him and requesting that he take care of Sasuke. Racked by grief for his actions, Itachi saw in Sasuke the only person suitable to punish him for his crimes. In order to set Sasuke on this road, he cast himself as the villain, done by allowing Sasuke to find him standing over their parents' bodies and using Tsukuyomi to torment him with visions of their murders. Sasuke fled, fearing his own death, but Itachi chased him down to divulge the lie he had concocted. He killed their family to test his mettle and now wanted to test himself against the only remaining challenge to him, the little brother he had never loved. He encouraged Sasuke to become strong enough to kill him and take revenge, and to that end suggested he acquire a Mangekyo Sharingan of his own. Itachi left, but was surprised to find Sasuke already pursuing him with a newly awakened Sharingan. Sasuke's attempt at vengeance failed and he passed out, but not before seeing Itachi cry with remorse. Afterwards, he disguised a crow clone as a member of Root to threaten Danzo he would leak Konoha's secrets to enemy villages if he touched Sasuke, having realized Danzo could not be trusted to keep his promises. For his final business in the village, Itachi visited the third Hokage and reported his mission completed, much to the third's surprise and disappointment. Itachi requested that the third look after Sasuke, which the third vowed to do. Itachi left the village publicly a traitor but secretly with a new mission, to infiltrate Tobi's organization, Akatsuki, and keep it from moving against Konoha. In the anime, Itachi was ambushed by his former Umbu squad under orders from Danzo, only to trick them into killing each other using Jinjutsu. At some point after joining Akatsuki, he was initially partnered up with Juzo Biwa. While growing accustomed to his new setting and working well with his partner, the duo was eventually given a mission in the Land of Water. After completing it, they were ambushed by a Hunter-nin squad led by Yagura. While initially pressed by the perfect Jinchuriki, Itachi was able to defeat him with Amaterasu, but not before Juzo was slain. Sometime later, Orochimaru tried to steal Itachi's body in order to gain the Sharingan, but Itachi easily overpowered him, trapping him inside a paralysis genjutsu and severing his left hand to prevent him from dispelling it. In the anime, Itachi expressed his disgust at Orochimaru for his inhumane experiments and was about to kill him when Kabuto saved Orochimaru, but they were both forced to leave Akatsuki. Later, Itachi was partnered with Kisame Hashigaki, with whom he bonded over their shared notoriety for killing their own countrymen. To find a replacement for Orochimaru, Itachi helped recruit Deidara, whose art he defeated with his Sharingan's Jinjutsu. Deidara would forever after swear vengeance for the humiliating defeat. In the anime, Itachi also aided in the recruitment of Haiden. Pain eventually caught wind of Orochimaru's attempt to destroy Konoha and requested a team to investigate, which Itachi immediately volunteered for out of concern for Sasuke's safety. At some point, Itachi contracted a terminal illness. He kept himself alive through the years with medicine and sheer willpower so that he could live long enough to die by Sasuke's hand. Personality. From a young age, Itachi was calm and insightful, showing noticeable maturity for his age and knowledge on how to deal with every situation. For all his accomplishments, talent, and fame, Itachi was a rather humble man. Never arrogant about his own abilities nor underestimating others, most things he said would be unbiased and accurate. If an opponent exceeded his expectations or posed a legitimate challenge to him or his allies, Itachi would freely admit it. As a 7-year-old, his reasoning was on par with the Hokage. Having studied history, not just of his clan or his village but of the world, he gained a broader appreciation of what was important. Learning so much enabled him to understand how events of the past came to happen and, when he applied that same understanding into the future, he became concerned for where things were going. At the same time, Itachi was still fairly naive as a child in many real-world scenarios and as such was willing to learn from his peers on how to differentiate situations. He lived at a distance, observing individuals and ideas without getting directly involved so that he could fully understand them. Although this approach prevented him from becoming close with many people, it enabled him to think and act without prejudice or preconceptions, instead evaluating things strictly on their own merits. In the anime, Itachi unintentionally gained many friends and admirers for his genuine concern for others despite his passive nature. He would think about shinobi and origins of the village and its future. For this reason, he never became arrogant about his own abilities or accomplishments, to which, most views or statements he made were usually well-based, seeing the situation for what it was. From this he had no self-righteous loyalty to his clan that was so common among the Uchiha. Though he loved his family and wanted the best for them, he knew there were more important things than the Uchiha's personal aspirations. Itachi's dream was to become Hokage, though he kept it hidden from others. Itachi was also one of the few villagers of Konoha to hold no grudge against Naruto Uzumaki, believing Naruto to be the greatest victim of the Nine Tails attack and showed him kindness whenever they met by chance. A pacifist at heart, Itachi did not actually like fighting and would avoid it when he could. When he couldn't, he would end the fight as quickly as possible, all the while holding himself back as much as possible. Despite this, Itachi felt his own needs were secondary to the greater goods and to that end he became a shinobi. He trained tirelessly to improve himself as quickly as he could and subjected himself to all of the shinobi life's inconveniences without complaint for the simple motivation of being useful to others. His commitment borderlined recklessness, due to training privately using extremely deadly methods such as dodging a barrage of kunai in the anime. Being so accomplished as a ninja enabled Itachi to approach problems less violently than others would, satisfying his peace-loving nature. These two extremes of his personality came into conflict as events moved toward the Uchiha clan downfall. He did not want to harm his family and sought a peaceful resolution, but knew that the path with the least bloodshed would be the clan's extermination. When the Uchiha clan refused to deter from their plans, Itachi was pushed over the edge and his normally polite attitude to his clansmen became more violent, criticizing them openly and lashing out at them for the choices that sealed their fates and his own. Despite his natural pacifism and kindness, Itachi was possessed of a wrathful and merciless side when those he loved were hurt or threatened. In revenge for Yashiro Uchiha's cowardly manipulations of his father from the shadows and helping to provoke war against Konohagakure while keeping free of responsibility himself, Itachi used his Tsukuyomi to force him to experience days of torture in an instant after making him realize how weak he was in comparison to Itachi himself. Itachi would later use Tsukuyomi, followed by Amaterasu to execute the helpless root member Shuguru in revenge for Shuguru poisoning Shisui. Despite the traumas he endured from killing his own family, Itachi did not blame those among Konoha's leadership who gave him the mission. Though he did not trust Danzo on a personal level, he knew Danzo only had the village's best interests at heart. But Itachi, partly out of the necessity of his assignment to join Akatsuki, was greatly changed after the massacre, rarely if ever showing emotion. He became more prone to displays of force and permitted certain violent habits of his partner, Kisame, under the pretense that it furthered Akatsuki's goals. After learning from Hiruzen everything that Itachi endured, Hashirama considered him a greater shinobi than himself. Itachi could not and would not fully shake his pacifistic ways, and would run from confrontation or reign in Kisame if the likelihood of collateral damage became too high for themselves or others. In addition, Itachi would continue to show his morality at times, as he expressed disgust at Orochimaru's lack of care for human life. While Kisame would sometimes protest, he considered Itachi a good friend and would listen to his instructions. Itachi also had a decent partnership with his previous partner Juzo, showing respect to him and after his death, placing the remains of Kubikuribocho in Juzo's hand. Konoha's peace and protection was always forefront in Itachi's mind, but it was his dedication to his brother, Sasuke, that took priority in every situation. From the time of Sasuke's infancy, Itachi tasked himself with looking after him. In the anime, Itachi even correctly guessed Sasuke's gender before his younger brother's birth. They'd spend whole days together in the woods around Konoha having adventures and accomplishing self-appointed missions. When Itachi became an accomplished ninja and took much of their father's attention, Itachi would make special time to fill their father's shoes for Sasuke's benefit, at times even refusing his father's wishes in order to make Sasuke happy. In turn, Sasuke wished to be just like his older brother and would often ask Itachi to train him in the ninja arts. Itachi would almost never do so, poking his forehead and promising to train him some other time. Unfortunately, none of these promises were ever kept. It was Sasuke's safety that ultimately convinced Itachi to go through with killing the rest of the Uchiha, believing his own damnation was worth it if it ensured Sasuke's survival. Even though he did it for Sasuke, Itachi wanted to be punished for his crimes and selected Sasuke as the one to take vengeance against him. To push Sasuke in this direction, Itachi withheld the true reason for his actions and instead took on the persona of a man who had no love for his younger brother. Per the persona, Itachi cared about Sasuke only because of the eyes that he could take to gain eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. His actions in Akatsuki were meant to reinforce this persona, and whenever he met Sasuke over the years he would taunt his weakness and encourage him to get strong enough to kill him. His plan was that, once he had been killed, Sasuke would be hailed as a hero. Itachi never wanted Sasuke to learn the truth surrounding the Uchiha's massacre, and if he did he hoped the memory of a hateful older brother would cause him to not believe it. Itachi's constant pursuit of peace, coupled with the paramount secrecy of his missions and his capacity to care about those around him, led Itachi to take on every burden himself, believing he needed no help from comrades. After he died and was reincarnated, Itachi discovers that his plans largely failed. Sasuke is not a hero. He did find out the truth about what Itachi did, and now he aims to destroy Konoha for its role in Itachi and the Uchiha clan's suffering. He then begins to see the flaw in his original plans. He had been trying to manipulate Sasuke rather than be honest with him and trust in his own strength. Acknowledging the mistakes, Itachi is free to be himself instead of the persona he fabricated, being openly kind to others and displaying a dry sense of humor even in stressful situations. He puts his trust in Naruto Uzumaki to stop Sasuke from proceeding further down the path of darkness, and after Naruto proclaims that he will stop the war himself, warns Naruto against forgetting the value of his friends like he himself and Madara did, reminding him how those he loved helped him come so far. Itachi later even shows empathy to his enemy Kabuto Yakushi, likening Kabuto's arrogance and belief in nothing being beyond him to Itachi's own living self, telling him that such a path can only lead to failure, at the same time finally acknowledging his true self for who he is and forgiving himself for his mistakes. Itachi further displays a reflective side, refusing Sasuke's claims that he was perfect and telling him that perfection can never be obtained by one individual. Itachi came to believe sometimes two people of completely opposite personalities are two sides of the same coin, that when they learn to work together, they can succeed in things they are unable to accomplish alone, a possible reference to how he and Kisame were complete opposites but were capable of compensating for each other's weaknesses. He is also finally open and honest with Sasuke during their final meeting, admitting what he did and even sharing information Sasuke did not already know. He apologizes to Sasuke for failing in his responsibilities as an older brother, wondering if being upfront with Sasuke from the beginning might have allowed them to avoid the Uchiha's destruction. In their final moments together, Itachi tells Sasuke he does not need forgiveness and that he will always love him no matter what. Appearance. Itachi was a fairly tall man of fair complexion. He had black eyes, under which were long, pronounced tear troughs. He had jet black hair that was pulled back in a low ponytail and his face was framed with center-parted bangs that extended to his chin. The ponytail and bangs grew longer over the years. His overall appearance is very similar to Sasuke's. Even more, like his brother, he was considered very handsome as many girls became infatuated with him. When he lived in Konoha, his casual clothes consisted of a black shirt with the Uchiha clan symbol on the back, bandages around his ankles, and black sandals. He wore tan pants with a weapons pouch strapped to his back. When on duty, he would wear the standard Umbu uniform complete with arm guards, a flak jacket, and a porcelain mask which was fashioned to resemble a weasel with a red, triangular marking on top. As a member of Akatsuki, he wore the standard Akatsuki cloak and a slashed Konoha forehead protector to symbolize his broken ties with the village. The cloak's high collar would obscure his ponytail. He would sometimes unbutton his cloak to mid-chest and rest his left arm there, rather than in the sleeve. Under his cloak he wore clothes similar to the rest of Akatsuki, mesh armor with navy accents under an identical t-shirt with a simple white belt around the waist and dark blue pants. On his right ring finger was his Akatsuki ring, which was red and bore the kanji for vermilion, shu. He wore light blue nail polish on his fingers and toes and a necklace that had 3 silver rings with red gems inside them. After being reincarnated by Kabuto with the Impure World reincarnation technique, he was seen wearing a maroon long-sleeved cloak like the other reincarnated ninjas and retains his dark blue pants and black open-toed sandals. His skin becomes pale white with linings on his face, his hair became dark gray and has soulless onyx eyes minus the irides. Abilities. Even within the famed and battle-adept Uchiha clan, Itachi was a genius of such talent. He consistently showed prowess well beyond his years, effortlessly learning new jutsu from simple observation, and rising rapidly through the ninja ranks. His prowess rivaled Shisui Uchiha, who was well regarded as the strongest Uchiha of their time. He was highly proficient in all 3 main ninja skill sets and gained praise from allies and foes alike. Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, openly admitted Itachi was stronger than he was. Obito revealed that despite being weakened from illness and Sasuke having absorbed Orochimaru's power, Itachi could have killed Sasuke during their battle if he wanted to. Even when restraining himself, a team of Jonin were still pushed to their limits against Itachi. Chakra and physical prowess. As an Uchiha, Itachi's chakra was naturally strong. It is unknown how his actual reserves were affected by his terminal illness. Just 3 uses of his Mangekyo Sharingan in a single day made him unable to use his Sharingan, and he would require significant rest afterwards to regain his strength. This also prevented him from participating in prolonged battles. Although not his preferred method of combat, Itachi was very skilled with taijutsu, enough to easily defeat 3 members of the Konoha military police force at the age of 11. Even from his youth, Itachi could channel chakra to enhance his strikes, even shattering stone. He had exceptional speed and reflexes, able to compete with Shisui and Naruto while clad with the Nine-Tails chakra mode, 2 shinobi well famed for their speed. His quickness was particularly noted with his hand movements, able to make hand seals too fast to be perceived normally. Even skilled Sharingan users had difficulty following him. His speed could move great distances in an instant as if by displacing himself, giving his opponent little chance to react or initiate a counterattack. Itachi also showed remarkable fortitude. Despite spending years afflicted with a crippling disease, he was able to maintain his composure at all times and still battle at near-perfect form. Itachi set the record for completing the Forest of Death in his Chunin exams while still 9 years old, at 5 hours and 37 minutes, while taking the exams solo. Ninjutsu. Itachi could summon crows, which he would typically call forth in flocks to swarm opponents and distract them. He even integrated crows into clones of himself that would draw opponents' attacks. He was likewise able to create shadow clones and from which could lure in opponents before exploding. Itachi was also well versed in Fuinjutsu, particularly those that would activate in the presence of a specific person's Sharingan. From his time in Umbu, Itachi became proficient in stealth, infiltration, and assassination. Bukijutsu. As a fully trained Konoha Umbu, Itachi was skilled with a sword, which was his primary weapon during the Uchiha clan downfall. Like many Uchiha, he specialized in Shuriken Jutsu, which he was especially advanced at. Even as a child, Itachi could perfectly hit an intricate set of 8 targets, one of which was hidden in a blind spot, by accurately deflecting his projectile off another one to redirect both projectiles' path in midair. His throwing speed was imperceptible, enough to negate the advantages of the summoning, lightning flash blade creation. He was equally comfortable with kunai, able to use them to spar with opponents wielding swords. In the anime, he learned advanced sleight of hand from Shisui to give his opponents even less time to react. Nature transformation. Itachi's nature transformations included fire, water, wind, yin, and yang release. As an Uchiha, he had a natural affinity for fire release, mastering the clan's great fireball technique at a very young age. He would often coat shuriken with fire to increase their offensive capacities. With water release, Itachi could perform the water dragon bullet technique without an external water source, 67, as well as shape existing water into tendrils to strike his opponents from all directions. Genjutsu. Consistent with his pacifist nature, Itachi specialized in genjutsu, where the illusions would typically involve crows. Regarded as one of Konohagakure's best users, even without the aid of his Sharingan, his illusions have remarkable potency, able to seamlessly affect his targets without them realizing it, while on guard, and also perform them by merely pointing at his target. He is noted by AO to have such high prowess that he could use genjutsu to control other individuals outside the range of even the sensor division. Itachi could also use genjutsu to share information or psychologically disable opponents, letting him end the fight instantly. Dojitsu Sharingan. Itachi awakened the Sharingan at age 8, after witnessing his teammate Tenma Izumo's death, and soon after mastered it. From a young age, he demonstrated skill and power superior to most members of his clan. In the anime, his prowess and exploits with it earned him great fame as Itachi of the Sharingan, Sharingan no Itachi. He tends to keep his Sharingan active near constantly with minimal drain on his chakra levels. The Sharingan allows Itachi to see the flow of chakra, predict movements, as well as facilitate his use of genjutsu. Against other genjutsu users, he could turn their genjutsu against them. Also, with the Sharingan he could perform Izanami, a counterpart to the more dangerous Izanagi. Mangekyo Sharingan. Itachi awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan after witnessing Shirsue's suicide. Its design was 3 spiraling curves around the pupil. With his right eye he could use Amaterasu, igniting whatever he looked at with black flames that would burn anything, including fire itself. He had the ability to extinguish Amaterasu. With both eyes, he could use Tsukuyomi, a genjutsu that trapped opponents' minds in an illusory world, altering space, gravity, and even their perception of time. While genjutsu normally have no ability to kill, Tsukuyomi could cause enough mental damage to kill the victim. Even survivors have shown to be hospitalized for extended periods of time. Having awakened the Mangekyo in both his eyes, Itachi could also use Susanoo. With its simplest manifestations, he could produce extra arms or bones to improve his options in a fight. When used in full, Itachi was surrounded by a spectral warrior that would protect him from damage. In addition to the chakra swords and Yasaka Magatama common to all Susanoo, Itachi Susanoo wielded the sword of Tatsuka, an ethereal sword with the ability to seal any person it pierced into its gourd, hilt, and the Yata mirror, a shield that was said to reflect any attack by changing its chakra nature to counterbalance an attack. The simultaneous use of both weapons made Itachi's Susanoo essentially invincible. Using any of these techniques required large amounts of chakra. If he used these techniques too often in a short span of time, Itachi would become so fatigued that he would deactivate his Sharingan altogether. Every time he used his Mangekyo Sharingan his eyesight deteriorated, a process that would progressively worsen on each occasion. Early uses of the Mangekyo would only cause his eyes to bleed, but by the end of his life he reached the point where he was nearly blind, most things looking to him like mere blurs. He does not suffer these shortcomings after his reincarnation and can use all his Mangekyo techniques without problems. Intelligence. Itachi was a highly intelligent individual, having the second highest scores in the history of the Chunin exam's written test behind Minato Namikaze. Composed and observant, he thought very quickly and remained calm in a fight, enabling him to respond with maximum efficiency and with the smallest likelihood of misjudging circumstances. Even at a young age, he was always calculating and methodical in his approach to the situation at hand, leaving little room for error. He took several precautions for Sasuke and against Tobi that he planned would activate after his death. Even Tobi admitted if he didn't keep some secrets from Itachi, he would have been killed by Itachi's trap. During his infiltration of Konoha, Itachi was also able to subtly leak Akatsuki's goals to Kakashi, Kurenai, Asuma, and Jiraiya without arousing Kisame's suspicions. Legacy. By his own design, Itachi had a profound influence on Sasuke's life. His instructions on the night of the Uchiha clan downfall for Sasuke to gain the power necessary to defeat him caused Sasuke to isolate himself from other people and avoid companionship. When Sasuke realized that he was getting attached to the members of Team 7 and, from his perspective, failing to get stronger because of them, he defected from Konoha and left to train under Orochimaru, propelling him along the path towards Itachi's death. Following the brothers' battle, Itachi's plan started to fail due to the interference of Tobi, who refocuses Sasuke's hatred that Itachi had engineered for himself, to be used against Konoha, turning Sasuke into a criminal against Itachi's intentions. Itachi is able to make amends with Sasuke upon his reincarnation, using his Sharingan to convey his memories to his little brother so that he could understand why Itachi chose the path he did. He also wiped Sasuke's prejudices clean and encouraged him to start deciding things for himself. Itachi's eyes would prove to be of immense importance for Sasuke, as not only did it grant Sasuke the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, but Sasuke would later awaken the Rinnegan with one of Itachi's eyes. Upon learning the entire truth about Itachi, Sasuke regains the great admiration he had for him when they were children and follows in his brother's footsteps. He does not want to see Konoha, the village Itachi sacrificed so much for, destroyed, and therefore works against Tobi and Madara to end the Fourth Shinobi World War. He also sees the reason in Itachi's decision to make difficult choices and be hated for them, and for that reason gives himself the task after the war is concluded to become the world's darkness, using his power to force peace and unapologetically kill any that threaten it. Though this is again a great divergence from Itachi's plans, another of Itachi's plans redeems him. Naruto, at Itachi's insistence, eventually convinces Sasuke of the errors he has made without killing him after their final battle. In the war's aftermath, Sasuke adopts Itachi's habit of poking others' foreheads as a sign of affection, in particular his wife, Sakura Haruno, and their daughter, Sarada. He also had a habit of neglecting his daughter in favor of his duties of protecting the village and her, although he realizes this mistake later on and chose to spend time with his family before continuing his mission. Sasuke would continue to protect the village for many years to come, ultimately causing Itachi's wishes for his brother to finally be realized. In the years following the World War, Naruto attempted to restore some of Itachi's honor by telling the world of Itachi's actions during his period of reincarnation. Without mentioning the truth about the crimes he committed while alive, Naruto gave Itachi's name as someone who supported him. Though not an easy thing to accept, no one challenged Naruto's word on the matter. Itachi's influence also extended beyond Sasuke. Danzo Shimura, despite his difference of opinions with Itachi, believed him an unsung hero of Konoha who worked selflessly for the village's good. Naruto is reminded by Itachi that the Hokage's strength comes from their acknowledgement by others, and thus he must never forget those who helped him become strong. The five Kage, despite not knowing about Itachi's involvement, hailed him as the world's savior for dispelling the impure world. Reincarnation technique. Kabuto Yakushi remembered who he truly was as a result of Itachi's Izanami and, inspired by him, resuscitated Sasuke when he was on the verge of death. In the anime, Hiruzen realized kind-hearted people should never be in the Umbu because of the nature of their missions. After the Uchiha clan downfall, Hiruzen was determined not to do the same with Kakashi and chose to retire him as an Umbu and made him commander of a team of genin in hopes it would help restore his light and kindness and eliminate his darkness. Itachi had an influence on one of Orochimaru's experiment subjects, Shin. Shin became intrigued by the Uchiha clan, especially Itachi, and adopted the clan name and customary garb for himself. It was because of his fascination of Itachi that Shin held a grudge against Sasuke for causing his older brother to die, and attempted to kill him in revenge. However, Sasuke noted that Shin's social Darwinism and warmongering goals indicate he did not understand Itachi at all. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.